Merriment. Oh, thought I would do a quick post on I'm finally getting into this long stretch here. I have got a couple of elderberry trees or shrubs which I can put here that are quite big, and this small one tree limb, and the other small one I've got at the front I'm going to pot in the pots that these elders are actually in, which I'll show in a moment. Now I've got these big pots here, they're 45 centimetre pots, and as you can see this soil is pretty sandy, neutral. You can't see it's neutral, but it's a neutral soil. Sandy, loam in some parts, quite fine, which is perfect for potatoes. And what we just looked at before, I don't even know if I mentioned what they were. These are actually seed potatoes. These are taters that I probably should have planted at least a month ago at the very, very latest. But anyway, we are where we are. They're busting to green. So what I'm showing, I guess, is a bit of a tip. So say you are cultivating soil for your potatoes. You're making a space for your potato patch where your potatoes are going to grow. Now, I actually had started building a potato tower out of bales of hay. I need to get star pickets. I'm not going to be able to get more star pickets for a while, at least 4 weeks. Financially, I've got to prioritise getting a new vacuum and a 2-stroke engine whippersnipper fueled by gasoline. And so anyway, so that's financially put out the part of me having to get more star pickets. It's going to have to wait. So interim, what I am actually thinking is, and this is going to relate to a post I'm going to upload on the Californian poppies. One of my favourite flowers, truly are. I loved Fanta as a child growing up, and I've got them with Lazarus or the sweet pea. The smell of sweet pea is just like, can you tell what, the smell, the perfume of sweet peas is just divine. So I'll save the Cali talk for when I do the Cali poppy. Cabbage butterfly is actually a post, but it's still beautiful. And I've got my calendula officinalis and wild sunflowers, which originally were given to me as artichokes. No, they're not. They're the wild sunflowers. I'm not going to get any artichoke from those. Same family, but yes, no, not artichokes. So anyway, as you can see, they're closing up their parasols of silky petals, which means it's that time of the day. It's from around 3 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, or if it's really dark, not a lot of cloud cover and a lot of sunlight, they will close up shop. I love it. They're the original bistro flower, bistro cafe in France, shutting its windows and everything when it starts to get dark in the afternoon, or when the sun goes, sort of thing. Anyway, I don't know why I went into there, but I did. Whatever. And then I also want to do a post on the beautiful aloe flowers that I've got. I just love aloe. There's something really Aussie about aloe flowers, truly. Some of the native species of plants here, they have this very dinosaurish, I'm not someone that really is down with the dinosaur theory, which I'll probably explain one day. My pat's to butter with the whole thing, and I'm not a fan of Darwin or Darwinism. But there's of course goods and fruits within the theorems and findings, as with all things. But anyway, it doesn't mean you have to follow it all like a religion sort of thing. Anyway, I'll get into that one day. So if you're like me and you're in a position where, okay, I'm not set up in my ideal spot to make my towers with the potatoes yet. But I also want to plant an abundance of California poppies, calendula, and also American marigolds. Pretty much my gardens are going to look orange, like bursts of orange, all the way up into the mid-autumnal autumnal equinox tide of Mabon, you know, which is quite a few seasons away still. I just want all the garden beds finalised, with the first crop being those main 3 flowers, and then of course sweet pea. Peas in the legume family, which means they help to fix nitrogen in the soil. American marigolds have a antifungal property as well that they impart within the soil. I'll get into that one day. And the Cali poppies also are really good for drought or harsh climate conditions, being native to California. Fargo, the name. The species actually being California of the genus. In Australia they have been naturalised, so they make a really good starting flower plant which you can eat. You can eat the leaves, you can also eat the flower petals, which I'll go into when I do the post on the Cali poppy. My beautiful boys. Hello Fendry. Bella, Bella, what you doing? You're puffing out. You're puffing out. Look how pretty you are. You just crashed my vlog. Yeah, it's better be about potatoes, not fluffy ducks. Ugh. That dog you can hear is from an annoying neighbour across the road who just yells out weird things like all day, randomly. It just, so hard to not get frustrated with the shit. And he does it for attention, which I don't want to give. And this is another gorgeous one here from the holly family. This is the yerba mate, and look at all her busting fruits coming up, which I'll get into another day. distracted. So as you can see, I've got a lot to do, but what I'm actually thinking of doing is what I'm actually going to do is plant my potatoes in pots using the soil in here, and then I'm actually going to plant my potatoes amongst this big, what will be a very long continuous strip of elderberry guilds. So, you know, I might even so I'll show you the two elders I'm referring to. So I mean, this post is like a little tip for starting out your potato seeds when you don't have all your allocated space ready or the soil cultivated yet, but also where I'm actually going to put them as well in term. So this elderberry, hello my little rookies, and this little elderberry here, which is very sunlight deprived. Oh, God, I love my animals. They're so beautiful. My little babies. You give me a headache, but I still love you. So what I'm actually doing is continuing this strip. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 elderberries in this corner section here, which has been sectioned off. I'm going to continue all the way down to the fence. But for now, my ibis friend, is it coming up? Oh, that sunlight's okay. Whew. Sorry guys. It's the first really warm day we've had here since last summer. Very happy about it. I just needed it. I was just getting one injury after another. I'm going to continue all the way down to the gate there. But for now, I'm just going to get to this point. I need to get a driver. So when I get around to getting the star pickets, I will actually be undoing these star pickets that are here with the driver. Hello, Sigrid. Siggy. Where's Loki? Can you hear Loki? Where's Loki? Can you hear Loki? Yeah. So yeah, there will be 4 more elderberries. Those 2 large ones, that small one there, which I'll pot in the large elderberry pot. And there's also another small one struggling at the front there in a small pot also, which I'll be putting in the big pot to establish. But the 2 big ones, as you can see, they're ready to go on the ground. So I'll be placing one of the big ones here, one of the other big ones in here. But I'm going to plant the potato seeds in these pots, and I'm going to put them amongst the elderberry bushes. And depending how they take off, bear in mind this soil is not completely cultivated. The soil that the potatoes will go into will be perfect, this sandy loam neutral soil. It'll be perfect, but as you can see, I'm building up the beds with basically duck bedding, which has some duck matter in there, poop basically, and some feathers amongst the hay. So it's not the perfect growing for potatoes, but you can grow potatoes in hay. Will you get an abundant crop, and you know, will the plant have all the nutrient it needs? Well, I don't think so. No, it won't. But at the same time, a way of circumventing that is to plant within media or soil which is potted, which you can actually dig into these garden beds, and when the time's ready, there will be actual soil, more organic matter for the potatoes to grow into. You can continue to plant them amongst the elderberries and what will also be California poppies and American marigolds and sweet peas. You can continue to do that, which is what I'm thinking of doing, but I'm also going to still do my tower. Hello, Bella. My tower over here, which has started, potato tower made out of hay, bales of hay. So I'm still going to do that, but I'm going to turn that one into a compost. So I'm making a compost bin out of hay bales, and I'm going to reflect another like tower, but just the potatoes here, because this is a sunny spot. You want as much sun as you can get, and there is a shade on this northwest side, which is perfect location for potatoes. Knowing where you get the most sun and planning around that according to what your plants thrive in is a really good way to get success with whatever you plant, so you're not pushing shit uphill, so to speak. Oh, not all plants like full sun, not all plants like shade. So just knowing what they thrive in, you can, help deal. I'm going to do another quick little post too today on, we're really hot right now, some of the ways I help my birds keep cool and not flailing in this really hot weather. But back to the potatoes. So I'm now, whilst we've still got daylight, I'm going to put sandy soil in there. There's going to be some clover in there, growing as well, most likely. I'm not planting on purpose. I can just weed that out as it grows. I know the difference between clover shoots and potato leaves, the first leaves that come out the potatoes. And I'm going to plant these puppies in those pots and move these other 2 elderberries into here. I also have very large boxes from, finally I got the 2 extra shelves I needed for the apothecary, and those big boxes they came in, I'm going to start lasagnaing this strip here in preparation. By the time things establish and I get seedlings going of American marigolds or taggies, cali poppies, more sweet pea and calendula officinalis, by that time that's all going like gangbusters in the greenhouses, and then I'll be ready to financially be able to get the drill and driver and also more star pickets, and I'll dismantle the sides here. I don't know what they did at the back here, clean that up, in the sides there. I will keep this barrier up even though it's pretty shabby. I am actually going to do a waterfall of nasturtiums as well, so that reminds me I've got to get nasturtium seedlings going as well. I love my nasturtiums. I'm very pragmatic in a lot of the plant selection that I like. I like there to be a therapeutic, medicinal and or culinary aspect to it as well, and also when it does good things in the soil also. Oh Bella, yellow honey. No, she's panting a little bit hot. I'll keep that post separate, what I do to help my birds keep cool when it's like this. They spotted one of the ibises. It's not going to come up on the camera, but I can see it as clear as day. It's just amazing how they just glide. Such massive birds and they just glide, the ibis. So anyway, I'm going to get to it. So if you're in, I know it's a very drawn out post, if you're in a position where, like I'm in, where you don't have your potato towel set up just yet, or you haven't cultivated the soil that you really want for your potatoes to really thrive, and you are basically just trying to cover naked earth and build beds up, a fantastic way is to use large pots with a sandy loam soil. If you don't know what I mean by that, there's limited space of what I could write up in the you know, the description of the post. Just look at soil and its types from clay, sand, loam. See, clay is very boggy. You could take someone's eye out if you roll clay into a ball and throw it at them. Potatoes like to be able to move their roots. Their growth will get stunted if their roots can't break through hard clay soils. So sandy soils, there's room to spread your roots, you know, roots that don't like to be moved. Also there's, and then so loam as well. So loam is quite powdery and fine. So have a look at your soil types if you don't know what that is, and before you go ahead planting in an area, look at whether your soil is suitable for the plant you're growing, and in this case potatoes. Like I said, you look at how they grow. What we want is in the root system. So if it's struggling in the root system, what you get is going to be limited, if anything, and you might kill your plant. So look at the soil, and if you don't have enough soil, you can actually plant them in pots, large pots that are deep, and when time comes to remove them out the pots because you want to transfer the plant, you just need to be a little bit gentle from removing them, so you don't disrupt the roots too much, which is easy done. What else? But that anyway, that's what I'm going to do now. I'll do a separate post now on keeping my birds hydrated and happy in the midst of the searing heat we've got right now. And anyway, I hope you're growing potatoes, and if you're not, get onto it. And if you are thinking about it, you know, if you're in the southern hemisphere especially, probably we should have done this a while ago, but we are where we are. You can grow them in the greenhouse as well. But anyway, I think potatoes are one of those staples, and you don't have to have, it drives me crazy when I see this, people just put all their veg or culinary foods, plants, all in one patch. And you're creating a buffet for pests. It's like having a strip club in the middle of the desert with beer on the front of the logo, or beer pasted all over the front of the place, and then expecting truckies, don't mean to be judgmental of truckies, but expecting the poor dudes to just go past without looking, or going in and having a bevy. It's just not going to happen. So if you put all your edibles in one veggie patch, you are creating a nightmare for yourself. And in one way, I think some people that supply plants know this. So big chain stores like Bunnings and that, they don't mind promoting the veggie patch, because it means you need to buy more pest control, you need to buy a weed killer, you have to buy all this other stuff just to maintain a veggie patch. Whereas if you're smart about weaving your edible veg or your veg amongst your other plants, flowers, herbs, it creates a bit of a minefield for the opulent, pests that are opportunist. Because you have the smell being masked, you have the colour or the look of the plant being masked, and it just distributes it. So you still might get a pest here and there, but you just don't really need to use anything. I mean, I use neem oil sometimes, but I haven't used neem oil for over a year. So by planning smart, you sort of circumvent having to use and purchase all these things, and you don't want more chemicals. We've got enough chemicals. We need to get the chemicals out of our soils and out of our systems. And anyway, you can do that just by planning smarter, So say goodbye to the veggie patch. Bring your veggie patch into your visual plants. Bring your visual plants into your veggie patch. Spread it out. You will need to section things off here and there if you have critters. But I mean, chicken wire can suffice, and it's not going to stay like that. I'm going to jazz it up and everything, but you can have garden beds, raised beds, but don't just plant vegetable patches in raised beds. Create a garden which has vegetables in it, which is accompanied and companioned with herbs and flowers, and especially the kind that are weedy, don't need a lot of maintenance, are very tolerable. Bloody motorbike. A lot of herbs, remember, don't like boggy feet, they don't like wet roots, so they need well draining soil, so you tend to put the herbs towards the outer edges of a raised bed, because it tends to be where it's the driest, or up on in elevation. But anyway, that's it from me. I'm going to get my potatoes finally to bed and move over these giant freaking bomba 60 centimetre pot elderberry trees over here, and finally get onto this blessed thing and Mary Part. My ducks are just looking at me going, what's she doing?